Hey everybody, going to demo this little puppy right here. So first thing, we've got our board built right on the breadboard. Got that classic circuit. Okay, positive up top, 4 items, coming all down through to negative. And I've got my push button connecting my negative power ground through the button. Okay, so we're going to get this onto here and then we're going to build it up. So I want you guys and gals, first of all, to see the similarity. Look at the layout of these parts. The layout here, it kind of matches, right? LEDs and resistors, capacitors, transistors at the bottom. Well, same thing up here on this panel. LEDs, resistors, capacitors. So the first thing to do is make sure you got it working. So you know your LEDs working, transistors are good. And then we're going to start putting pieces in. I recommend putting a few in at a time and connecting those and then doing the rest. It's going to be a lot of parts on the bottom, different legs that are connecting, and it gets a bit confusing. Okay, so let's start at the top. Top two are 2 LEDs. All right, and the positive side is going to our LEDs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the positive leg is on the inner, the inner hole here and here. Positive leg is the longer leg, so let's pull this one out. Longer leg. No, he ain't gonna. And you also will know the positive leg is the leg of your LED that's in the positive row. So we're gonna drop those babies in there like this. Nice, nice. Now, that positive is going to connect to R2 and R3. Those are our 22K. 22K, red, red. Okay, so we're going to grab our red reds. Remember, polarity doesn't matter on these babies, but, be organized. I'm going to put the gold stripe facing down. I like to bend the legs tight to the body of the resistor. And we're going to slide them in. Do these 2 on the middle holes. Once again, the board is laid out to match the design schematic to minimize confusion for my students. Okay, let's do the other 2 resistors as well. 470s, yellow purple. We're going to put the gold stripe down again. These are a bit bigger. These can take more power, but they're all good and they will all fit. Try to get those legs in there nice. Sweet. Next one up. And this one. Okay, so we're going to do this now, and then we're going to flip it, and we will connect some connections. Yeah. Push this down into that board. All right. Looking good. Now flip it. Okay, so this is where you have to kind of remember what's what a bit. So bend the outer legs away just so we have a bit of space. And I know it's hard to see here. The inner legs need to connect to these 2 inner legs, and these outer legs going to connect to outer. So let's try to be neat. I'm going to bend the legs over top of each other. So let's see if you can follow here. I'm going to bend this one, the middle one, up. I'm going to bend this over. All right. Bend this one up. This resistor, top the resistor leg up. Bend this one over. Now they're overlapping. So what I can do at this point is I can solder them. All right. Which will be nice. Those 2 right there. Okay. I'm going to also bend these 2 together. Now you could just twist them if you want. That's easier for you. That works as well. We just twisted those 2, and we're going to snip it once we solder it, lay it flat. These 2 on this side also, we're going to get connected. And at the same time, what you're not seeing is the fingers here holding these flat, because you don't want them to be pumped up from your working on them, and then you end up soldering them and they're all lumpy. So it's nice to keep them flat We're going to twist here. These two are overlapping. So now we've got this first set. Bend these out of the way. So bend these legs down. That helps keep the parts from moving around. Now we can solder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready to solder those. Okay? And, you know, these are kind of out of the way right now, which is great. We don't have much more going on in that area. Okay. All right, so that's how we get started. We're going to put our capacitors in next, here and here. Okay, so let's pop those in. Now we're going to notice on the diagram here, positive leg is on the outer side of this board here. Positive leg is facing the outer side. So how can you tell? Well, same as an LED, longer leg is positive, but also remember the negative symbol is written on the capacitor here. So then that little arrow sign is pointing to the negative leg. It lines up. So that's the way to tell when the legs get all jumbled up. Okay, but we're going to put this one in. Negative facing the inside. Drop it. And we're going to get the next one. These ones' legs are all bent out of shape, so get them nice and straight. Negative on the inside. We're going to twist these legs together. Now, okay. Nice and tight. Line them up. Okay. Let's see what's going on underneath. Now here, resistor down, resistor down. Down and down. Okay. Now we also make sure we want to connect these pathways to our transistor. We don't want to add extra wires. So we want to find those long legs. We're going to bend the legs so they can reach down. Okay, is it the resistor leg going to be long enough? Maybe. Or the capacitor leg long enough to hit that collector? Let's take a look. So we're going to flip it over. Orient it to match our plan here. So you will note here that this LED leg is definitely long enough to reach that collector. This LED leg. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend the capacitor leg over. I'm gonna bring the LED down like that. Okay, and I'm gonna solder that connection right there. And now I can, when the transistor comes to the party, I can pull his legs over. Okay, now these middle have to cross over to the base. If you remember that whole deal, so we got to bend them across. Okay, and that works out well. It bends around the capacitor leg. See if you guys can see this. See the LED leg bends around the capacitor leg, and it's going to party down here with the base. And this is going to come across and party with the base. Now these two cross over. They cannot touch. So we're going to be careful when we do soldering. Next video we're going to do soldering. We're just doing the layout here. So I'm going to press these kind of flat. And my capacitor leg, I'm going to just bend them over a little bit. Okay, and this one is the same. Let's bring the LED down. I'm going to bring the capacitor, flatten him out first. Bring the LED down. The capacitor up a little bit to cradle that. So now we have a nice little setup here. I don't know how close this camera will focus, but we have a nice setup for those parts before the transistors come into the party. All right, so there's your first start setup. I'm going to stop this video. I'll make part 2. Now notice these LEDs, these capacitors kind of popped up, so I'm going to put them down a bit before I solder them. I want them to be nice. They don't have to be, but it's nicer if they are. And then we're going to solder in the next video. Okay, so we're following our plan. Thank you for paying attention, and see you soon.